Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be doing a tier list of the best point guards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. A lot of good point guards in the game right now, so it is going to be tough to put some of these cards in the lower tiers, the C, the D, the F tier, because most of these cards are really good options. A lot of them are very complete, just a very good position in general. As we get later in the year, it becomes tougher to do these tier lists because more and more of these cards are very complete, and it's just hard to rank them. It becomes a lot more personal preference. Niche things that are issues that bring cards down, things like that. So just keep that in mind when I make this video. There's gonna be some cards in these lower tiers who are still decent cards, but yeah, before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 5,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate your support if you haven't already, if you do subscribe. That being said, without further ado, let's hop right into it. Let's start off with Josh Giddey, and I think Josh Giddey, is he, I don't know, it's tough, because is he an S tier point guard? That's really my question. Is he a top 5 point guard on this list? And honestly, I don't think so. I think there's 5 guys on this list that I would take over Josh Giddey for this. So for that reason, I would put him in A tier. Definitely a solid card, the level 40 reward from this season, but he's just not quite elite in my personal opinion. 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan is great size. Hot spots are everywhere. 30 hops include fast twitch, catch, sniper, a ton of playmaking badges, as well as some really great perimeter defensive badges as well. Really great all-around stats. Sigs wise, he's got decent sigs, shifty dribble style, Kade size up, and Pippen behind the back. Also Jason Kidd, lower Steph Curry upper on very quick. It's not a terrible release. It's not my favorite release though, and his movement isn't absolutely elite. So the fact that he doesn't have elite movement, the jumper in my opinion also isn't elite. Those two issues definitely I feel like do hold him back, despite the fact that his stats and badges are great. And so for that reason, I'm putting him in the A tier. Chauncey Billups, I actually think you could make the argument that he is A tier as well. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put him in B tier for now, but there's honestly a chance I might move him up to A tier. Y'all know how much I like this card. Offensively, he's just an absolute demon. 6'3" with a 6'6" wingspan, so he doesn't have great size, but hot spots from everywhere. 15 hops include a bunch of good shooting badges, quick first step, and some really solid perimeter defensive badges as well. Great perimeter defender. Interior wise, he's small and doesn't have the greatest interior stats or badges, so that's gonna hold him back a little bit. He needs badges added to him as well, like a brick wall, pogo stick, rim protector, maybe post lockdown, chase down iris, limitless takeoff, posterizer as well. You got to pick 5 of those 7 if you're going to badge this card out. Really fast though, elite shooter, and he's got incredible sigs, quick dribble style, Kobe size it, Pippen behind the back, as well as jump shot 98 on very quick, which is one of my favorite jump shots in the game. I really do think Chauncey Billups is one of the best offensive point guards in my team. Defensively, unfortunately, he leaves a little bit to be desired with his lack of size, but overall, he's a very good card. Marcus Smart, I do think is A tier. He's another somewhat small PG, but he's honestly a very good card. 6'3", so he is short, like I said, but 6'8" wingspan is very solid. Hot spots from everywhere. 29 hops include some really solid finishing badges like fast limitless takeoff and posterizer, as well as catch, corner, quick first step, and an absolute ton of defensive badges, even interior badges like brick wall, pogo stick, post lockdown, and rim protector. Incredible defensive stats as well. Really good rebounder for a small guard. 95 speed excel, 92 shot 3, and a 95 driving dunk. So really good on paper. Jump shot 66 with Kobe upper on very quick is also a very good jumper. Quick dribble style, Kade size up. His movement sigs aren't amazing, but he does have a good dribble style, a very good release, and absolutely incredible stats and badges. So even though he is a bit undersized, I still think he's an A tier guy. Lonzo Ball, I'm going to put in the C tier. Not a card that I'm personally a huge fan of at this point. The biggest issue with the card is definitely his release. 15 hops, 6'6" with a 6'7" wingspan. He's got pretty good size, but most of his hops are playmaking and defensive badges, which is nice. He's got some good playmaking badges, some decent perimeter defensive badges as well, like ball stripper, clamps, interceptor, menace, and pickpocket. Needs brick wall, post lockdown, rim protector, and shooting badges added to him. Unfortunately, can't get every badge that you'd like to add to him because he only has 6 badge slots, and it'd be nice to add about 7 or 8 badges to him. So you're gonna have to pick and choose just a bit there, but 92 speed and excel is good. 90 shot 3, good dunker, really solid defender. He's got good size, like I said. Really, my biggest issue with the card is one, not elite movement. Shifty dribble style isn't great. Kobe sides and pro 2 between the legs are good, but the release is slow. Lonzo release on normal for a point guard, it's one of the slowest releases on this list, and that really is a relatively significant issue at this point in the game. Unfortunately, he's not a completely horrendous card, but the slow release does hurt the card, and I look forward to the next Lonzo card that comes out because I think he'll be a lot better. Damian Lillard, unfortunately, I'm putting him in D tier. I just think he is too small and not a good enough defender to be an elite option. Only 6'2". Hot shots from everywhere is nice. Really solid finishing badges, as well as great shooting and playmaking badges. Defensive badges are okay. He's got a couple decent perimeter badges, but low interior defense, even lower block. Needs interior badges to him, added to him, and he's very small. That hurts the card. Offensively, he's solid. He's very fast. He's got great stats, great offensive badges. Release is really good. Quick dribble style is good. Pippen behind the back is good as well. His half court 6, I'm not a huge fan of Lillard's half court court SIGs. And unfortunately, the lack of size is really this card's biggest downfall. The fact that he just can't defend on the interior makes him a liability on the court. He really can't guard anybody. And that's a significant flaw. When you're that bad on that end of the court, which honestly, I just think he's really not good in the interior, that's going to hold a card back. And for that reason, I'm putting him in D tier. Gary Payton. This is tough because I don't think this card is very good. His release is all normal. He's small. I'm going to be honest. He's got too many flaws. I'm putting him in D tier as well. He's not completely horrible, but the problem with the card is he's only got 20 hops as a dark matter, and he doesn't have any great shooting hops. Playmaking and defensive hops are really good, and he's got great defensive stats, nice and fast, good shooter, solid dunker. The problem with this card is definitely the release. Jump shot 40 is not that great of a release, especially on normal. It's very slow for a PG at this point. His movement is not elite, doesn't have quick dribble style. Kobe size up is nice. Pro 2 between legs, Pro 3 behind the back is nice as well. So besides the dribble style, his SIGs are decent, but really when you have a very slow release as well as not elite size and not the most elite shooting batters or anything like that at this point, those are a couple significant flaws. Better defender than Lillard, not as good offensively. I think he fits in at D tier pretty well. Oscar Robertson, I'm going with top of B tier. Very, very solid card, especially when he's evoed. He becomes a really solid PG option. 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan, so he's got pretty good size. Hot spots from almost everywhere. 20 hops include fast twitch, blinders, catch, limitless, and sniper. A bunch of playmaking badges as well as Hall of Fame clamps. Wish he had a couple more Hoff defensive badges. That would be nice, and he can't get the brick ball badge. He needs rim protector and chef added to him as well. But he's got great speed, really good shooter, solid dunker. Like I said, solid size and solid defensive stats. Jump shot 49 on very quick is a very, very fast, pretty easy to green jumper. Quick dribble style as well is nice, despite the fact that the rest of his SIGs aren't great. He does have the best dribble style in the game, and his elite jumper, solid movement, really, really good stats and badges. Overall, really solid card. He's got decent size as well. I think he's a B tier guy. I'm going to be honest, this Harden card, there's not very many cards on this list. In fact, I'm not sure there's there might be one or two, but I just don't think this Harden card is good at all. Maybe no, I'm putting him in F tier. I'm sorry. I don't think he's good at all. I know he's got decent size. He is 6'5", so I guess he's got solid size. Wingspan is okay, is pretty good as well. But hotspots from almost everywhere is nice, but he's got no Hall of Fame defensive badges and very mediocre defensive stats. His movement is not very good. The biggest issue with the card is the fact that he's got fundamental dribble style. The rest of his SIGs are okay. His full court SIGs I don't love, but the size of escape is really nice. He moves decently, but fundamental dribble style is an issue, and the release is slow. Those two things are significant issues. When you have very mediocre release and movement for a point guard, as well as no Hall of Fame defensive badges, and you're just a mediocre defender at best, those are significant flaws at this point in the year. I have to nitpick, like I said, and I think Harden is one of the worst cards on this list. So for me personally, I'm putting him in F tier. Dwayne Wade, this might be a surprise to a lot of y'all, but I'm putting Wade in S tier. On current gen specifically, which is what this list is for, I think Wade is absolutely incredible. 6'4" with a 6'10" wingspan, hot spots from 4 out of 5 spots, 20 hops, include fast twitch, limitless takeoff, posterizer, catch, limitless, and sniper, quick first step, handles for days, solid defensive badges, needs brick wall, rim protector added to him. That's about it though. 98 speed and excel is great. He's a good shooter, really good dunker, and elite defensive stats. Like I said, little small 6'4", but he's got a good wingspan and elite defensive stats, really solid defensive badges as well, does help him out there. D-Wade release on quick. It's basically Chauncey Billups release on quick. I mean, it's base 98. It's just called D-Wade release. It's basically the exact same thing. Very smooth, fast, easy to green release. Quick dribble style as well. Kobe size it gives him really solid half court SIGs. Full court SIGs aren't great, but that's really my only complaint with the card. He is very, very good on both ends of the court. Really a huge fan of Wade, and I'm putting him in S tier for that reason. D-Rose, I'm going to put in A tier. I think some people would rather me put Rose in S tier or Marcus Smart in S tier and move Wade down. But for me personally, I don't like this card or those other guys in A tier quite as much as Wade. That being said, I do like D-Rose a lot. 6'3" with a 6'8" wingspan. Hot spots from everywhere. 28 hops. Really, really solid all-around hops as well. He's got hops in every single area and good hops in every single area. 99 speed and excel is obviously as good as it gets. 98 driving dunk is great. Really good shooter. Really great defensive stats as well. On paper, he's a beast. He is a little bit undersized, which is an issue, but he's got good SIGs, quick dribble style, Kobe size up is nice, and his release is very, very fast, tough to contest. That's a big advantage as well. Really, my biggest complaint with this card is that he doesn't have elite size, and I feel like he struggles on the interior more than a guy like Dwayne Wade. And honestly, I think Wade's release is a little easier to green, even though it is a bit slower as well. So for me personally, just my opinion, I like Wade more than I like Derrick Rose. So I'm going to put D-Wade in A. I'm sorry, D-Wade in S and D-Rose in A. Ja Morant. It's a tough one for me because I'm not a huge Ja fan in 2K, but a lot of people do like this card a lot, and I don't think he's bad. I'm going to put him top of C tier. I think that's a fair spot for him. He's another guy who is a little bit undersized, only 6'3", just like Rose. He's just a not as good Derrick Rose. Release isn't quite as fast. Finishing badges are great. All around badges are pretty good. He's even got a couple defensive hops. Interior defense is mediocre. He needs interior defensive badges added as well. But he's really fast, great shooter, great dunker, really solid perimeter defender. PG release on quick. It's definitely not an elite release the way that Derrick Rose's release is, which is an issue. Quick dribble style, Kobe size up is nice. Profile behind the back is pretty good as well. In my opinion, the Kawhi behind the back is the second best move behind the back in the game. I just don't love jaw cards in 2K, unfortunately. There's nobody on this list yet that I would take over him. So for that, or that I would take him over in terms of the S through B tier guys. So for me personally, I am going to have to put jaw in C tier. Magic Johnson, I think also probably has to go in the C tier. He's got great size. That's really the best thing about the card is that he's 6'9", but he doesn't have great movement. He's got a slow release. Those are two significant issues. Most of his badges are also playmaking badges, and a lot of them are relatively useless. Doesn't have great finishing badges. Catch and shoot is a nice badge. Rebound chaser is good as well, but on a point guard, you'd rather see some perimeter defensive badges. He needs ball stripper, post lockdown, rim protector, shooting badges as well added to him. He's nice and fast, and he's got great playmaking badges, like I said, but the playmaking badges aren't as good when you have fundamental dribble style, which is what Magic's dribble style is. His SIGs beside the dribble style also aren't good, and the Magic release, even on quick, is a slow release for a PG. Definitely one of the worst releases on this list as well. Because of his elite size, that really does help him a lot, and that makes him a C tier guy still, but he's not a card that I personally enjoy running, and so for me, I still think he's in the C tier. Trae Young. I'm actually going to put Trae in B tier. And I know y'all might be wondering, Trae's really small. He's not a great defender. Why are you putting him this high, but you put Ja below him? But for me personally, I love Trae's release and I love his movement. Similar to Chauncey, he's an absolutely elite offensive card. Defensively, low interior, low block, needs interior badges as well. But he's got great perimeter defensive badges and great shooting and playmaking badges as well. 70 driving dunk isn't great, but he's got solid safe dunks. So that's okay. Dunk rating isn't really as important as the dunks you have. And he's got the basic safe dunks this year, so that is nice. Quick dribble style as well. His SIGs are absolutely incredible. His half-court SIGs, pro 3 behind the back as well. He's got elite SIGs and an elite release. Trae's release is one of the best releases in my team. And so for that reason, he is still a very, very viable card because of how elite he is offensively. Defensively, he's going to struggle, but he's one of the best offensive point guards in the game. Really top 2 or 3 offensive point guards in my team. So for that reason, I'm still putting him in the B tier. Steph Curry, I think, does go C tier as well alongside Ja Morant. Not as good as a guy like Ja Morant in my personal opinion. And honestly, I don't know, maybe even C tier is a little high for Steph. He's only 6'3", he's got hot spots everywhere, but the interior defense is really mediocre. He doesn't have a lot of Hall of Fame defensive badges. His shooting is amazing, but he doesn't even have release on very quick. He's got solid playmaking badges as well. He's nice and fast. He's an acceptable dunker, obviously an incredible shooter, and a decent perimeter defender, but he's a little undersized, doesn't have great interior defensive ability as well. I like his SIGs. Steph's SIGs are good. He does have the Curry slide as well, which obviously is nice to have, and his size up is good. Steph Curry dribble style is the same as quick, so his movement is pretty solid. Steph Curry release on quick, also definitely do like the release, but I wish it was on very quick. It would be better if it was on very quick. Unfortunately, at this point in the year, Steph release on quick, while still being a good release, isn't overly elite the way it was early in the year. So yeah, I like Steph. I just don't think he gives you enough defensively, and I wish his jumper was on very quick. So for me, I'm still putting him in C tier. Jalen Rose. This is a tough one. I haven't used Jalen Rose in a while, but I do think he's still a pretty solid card. You know what? Before I'm moving Steph to D tier. He's too small, and it just, I don't know. He doesn't play enough defense for me, and he doesn't give me quite as much offensively as I would like to see. So I know I'm being picky, but I'm putting Steph in D tier. Jalen Rose, I'm going to put in C tier. I think he's got great size. That's one very nice thing about the card is that he is 6'8". Hot spots from 4 out of 5 spots outside of 3, 15 hops. But the problem with this card, he's got mediocre Hall of Fame badges, and unfortunately doesn't have any Hall of Fame defensive badges. Defensive stats are okay, but not great. He needs Chef, Limitless, Spot Up, Sniper, as well as a bunch of defensive badges added to him, and Limitless Takeoff, and Posterizer. He needs like 8 or 9 badges added to him and can only get 6. So that is a bit of an annoying thing about this card. 88 speed and excel also isn't great, but he's a solid shooter, decent dunker. Overall, statistically and badge-wise, it doesn't jump off the page, but he's got elite size. Quick dribble style is nice. Pro 5 behind the back as well. And jump shot 32, I think, is one of the better normal timing releases in the game. It's still pretty smooth, pretty fast, and really easy to green. And along with his elite size, he just gives you more than a guy like Magic Johnson. I would prefer him over Magic. I still don't think he does quite enough to be in the B tier, but he is a very solid card. Ben Simmons is an obvious S tier. In my opinion, the second best point guard in the game on current gen. 6'11" with a 7-foot wingspan. He's got obviously incredible size. Hot spots from everywhere. 29 hops include posterizer, catch, limitless, and sniper. A ton of defensive badges and a bunch of good playmaking badges as well. Elite defensive stats in addition to the elite defensive badges. Really great dunker. He's maybe the best dunker in the game in terms of the animations he gets. Really a massive mismatch with his size. Really good shooter. Great speed and excel. My one complaint with the card, I wish the release was on very quick, but it doesn't do enough to drop him down a tier at all. Still an elite card. Quick dribble style, Kobe size up, and Pip behind the back are great SIGs as well. Being 6'11", he doesn't have the greatest movement in the world. He's not going to move as well as a 6'7" or shorter PG just because of the way dribbling is this year. But that being said, he's a very, very, very good all-around card. Absolutely elite option at PG and definitely S tier. MJ is also S tier. He is the best point guard in the game on current gen, and it's not particularly close. He is an absolute god. 6'6" with a 6'11" wingspan. Hot shots from everywhere. 25 hops include really well-rounded Hall of Fame badges all the way around. Elite defensive stats, elite dunker, elite shooter, elite speed. Everything about the card is elite. He's got incredible dribble SIGs as well with the Kyrie size up, quick dribble style, and Trae Young size up escape. Also, the pin behind the back. The MJ release on very quick is maybe my favorite release on current gen as well. It's almost uncontestable. Absolutely incredible release. He greens a ton of light leads. Overall, MJ is just, he's insane. He's the best card in the game on current gen by a relatively significant margin, I still think. And yeah, easy S tier. One thing I will note before I talk about Luka, Zach LaVine isn't on this list. If Zach LaVine was on this list, I would have him in the S tier. I'll just say that. I really do think he's a great, great card. But unfortunately, since he's not on this list, I'm not going to have him S tier. I wish he was in this list, but I will say I'm a huge fan of LaVine, and he definitely would be an S tier guy. Luka is also S tier, I think. I think he's probably the fourth best point guard on current gen after MJ, Simmons, and LaVine. But Luka is a very good card still. 6'7", hot spots from basically everywhere. 24 hops, include a ton of shooting badges. Really great playmaking badges as well. Clamps and interceptor. His only 2 defensive hops, but they're really good defensive hops, and his defensive stats are also very solid. Also has really good size. Needs brick wall, rim protector, limitless takeoff, but that's about it. Nice and fast, great shooter, solid dunker. He's got good dunk animations. Luka release on very quick is even uncontestable on current gen. Not quite as cheesy, I would say, as it is on next gen, but it's still a very good release. Very, very hard to contest. Shifty dribble style, though, and all of his Luka SIGs are not great. I will say that's my biggest complaint with the card is that I don't love his SIGs, but he still gives you enough in terms of his really tough to contest release, great stats and badges, and elite size that I still think he is an S tier PG in my team. Jason Williams is another one of those undersized guys, just like Chauncey and Trae Young, who's an elite offensive PG, but doesn't have the size to be any higher than B tier. Jay Williams, though, he also is going to be an elite dunker because he's a glitched card. As y'all can see, all of his key stats are really, really high, 95 plus on almost everything important. Interior defense and block are a bit low, and he needs interior badges added to him as well, but he's got great shooting badges, elite playmaking badges, clamps, menace, and pickpocket defensively, limitless takeoff and posterizer also offensively. Also has a really good release, jump shot 3 on quick. Obviously, if y'all have used base 3 this year on Cassie Russell, Cedric Maxwell, y'all know how good of a release this is, and on Jay Will, it's obviously amazing as well. Quick dribble style, Kobe size up, and Pippen behind the back give him very, very good SIGs as well. So overall, he's an incredible offensive point guard, just like a guy like Chauncey Billups, and honestly, I think he gives you a little bit more in terms of his slashing ability than these two guys as well. So offensively, he's an absolute beast, and that puts him in B tier. Manu Ginobili. I don't love Manu. I don't know. Some people really like this card. I'm not one of those people. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's great. I don't know. Is he B or C? There's definitely some guys in this list that I still like over him, so I'm going to put him in C tier for now. I think he's the best point guard in C tier, and he does have pretty good size at 6'6" as well. The size is nice, actually. Hotspots for basically everywhere. 20 hops include really a bunch of good Hall of Fame badges, but no defensive badges. It needs brick wall and rim protector as well. But 94 speed and excel is good. Defensive stats are pretty good as well. Interior and block could be a little better, but they're not horrible. 94 shot 3 is good. 80 driving dunk is pretty solid as well. Dante action release on quick, very good release. Shifty dribble style is meh, but it will take it. It's better than anything but quick. Kobe size up and Pippen behind the back, as well as the pro tip between the legs, give him super solid SIGs besides the dribble style. The dribble style, like I said, not bad. Shifty dribble style can still get the job done. I think he's good enough that he's a B tier guy. He's got good size as well. He's a very solid card. Manu does deserve to be in the B tier. Am I gassing it to put Cade Cunningham in the A tier? I don't know. I just think Kade is so good still in my team. I think I'm probably gassing it a little. I'm going to put him in B tier, but I really do like Kade a lot. I'm looking forward to his Dark Matter because I think that card's going to be incredible. He's got great size at 6'8". Hoff switch from 3 out of 5 spots. 17 Hoffs include a bunch of great shooting and playmaking badges. Another card with no Hall of Fame defensive badges, but his size really does help make up for that. Needs interior badges added as well as limitless takeoff and posterizer. But 92 speed excel is great. 93 shot 3, solid dunker. He's got incredible safe dunks. He's got the same safe dunks as Kobe, which are basically the best safe dunks in the game, which is super nice. And defensive stats are pretty acceptable, especially with him having good size. Jump shot 80 on quick is a jumper I'm a fan of. Shifty dribble style, the pip behind the back gives him solid sigs. And like I said, his size is very valuable as well. So the fact that he's got solid sigs, great size, a good jumper, and solid stats and badges, I'm still a big fan of Kade Cunningham cards. And I really like this card in 2K. So for me, he's still a B tier guy. Is Matt Calvin, I don't know. I think Harden's going to be the only guy I put in F tier, to be completely honest, because Matt Calvin isn't bad. He's just remarkably undersized. That's the significant issue with the card. At only 6 foot, he's tiny. But hot shots are almost everywhere. 27 Hoffs include a ton of finishing badges, catch, mismatch expert, and a bunch of elite playmaking and defensive badges. Really elite defensive stats on the perimeter. Great dunker, shooter. Speed is really good. Jumper is great. Steph release on very quick, which obviously I wish was actually Steph's release, but quick dribble style as well. Kobe size up, Pippen behind the back. He's got good sigs. Overall, he's a really good card. He's just undersized, and that's the significant issue with this card. So unfortunately, he can't be higher than D tier because he's just so incredibly small, despite the fact that I do think he's actually a solid card. DeMar DeRozan, I think, does go top of C tier. There's a couple issues with this card that prevent him from being a lot higher on this list, because if he had some of these things figured out on this card, he'd be really, really good. He's got great size, hot switch from 4 out of 5 spots, 20 Hoffs, include some pretty good all-around Hoffs. No Hoff defensive badges besides Pogo Stick, though. Really mediocre defensive stats, and really low interior is really not a good thing to have. Also can't get the Chef badge, which is one of the most important badges in the game for point guards, to be able to shoot those deep off-dribble threes. Which is really, really important. 94 speed excel is great. He's a good shooter, great dunker, but unfortunately not having Chef, really low interior defense. Those are two significant flaws. He's got a good release, Trey-Brick release on quick, shifty dribble style, Kobe size up, full court sigs aren't great. He would be a very, very good card if he could get Chef and had a higher interior defense, but those are two really significant flaws. So for me, I'm going to put him in C tier. B tier, I think, is the tier for Victor Oladipo, in addition to a lot of these other guys. And Oladipo is honestly a very solid, pretty good all-around card. He's 6'4", so he doesn't have the greatest of size, but he's got a pretty good wingspan. Hots from 4 out of 5 spots. 21 Hoffs include a bunch of defensive badges, as well as good finishing badges, catch, limitless sniper, and quick first step. Really great defensive stats. 96 speed and excel, 95 shot 3, and a 98 driving tunk. So really, really good all-around card. Doesn't get brick wall, but he can get the other interior badges he needs. Jump shot 95 on quick it's a pretty good release. I'm honestly a solid fan of this release. Quick dribble style as well. Rest of his sigs aren't great, but the Kade size up is okay. He's good. He's not great, but he's very, very solid, and I do still think he's a B tier guy. I'm going to put D'Angelo Russell in A tier. This card, for whatever reason, is just so good this year in 2K. I don't know. They glitched him defensively, and he's an absolute beast. He's a good dunker, great shooter, really fast, really great all-around badges. But the defensive badges, he really, really helped him out a lot. Hoff brick wall and rim protector need to be added, but that's about it. Quick chain as well, I would also add on a PG. But shifty dribble style, the rest of his sigs aren't amazing, but he does have the moving behind the back pro 3. Like I said, sigs aren't amazing, but D-Lo release on very quick is a solid release, and he plays such good defense. I don't know what it is about this card. He plays absolutely incredible defense. One of the best defensive point guards in the game for whatever reason, which doesn't really make sense because D-Lo's not a good defender in real life, but he's a glitched card, and boy is he glitched. He plays amazing defense, and I really do think he's an A tier guy. Such a good card. Paul Reason is yet another B tier guy. I know we're putting a lot of guys in the B tier in today's video, but I think that's where Paul Reason goes as well. Another guy who doesn't have great size, but not horrible. 6'4" with a 6'6" wingspan. Hot shots from almost everywhere. 21 Hoffs include limitless takeoff, a bunch of shooting badges, handles for days, quick first step, and a bunch of good defensive badges. Really great perimeter defender. Another guy, little lacking on the interior and the block especially, but not horrible. Needs interior badges added to him, but he's a great dunker, really good shooter, really fast. Jump shot 95 on quick, like I said, for who also had 95? Victor Oladipo. It's a pretty good release. Shifty dribble style is okay. Kobe size up, pro 3 behind the back are good sigs to have. Overall, a very solid card. I just think, again, a little bit undersized, not the greatest of sigs. So for me, I don't love the card, but I think he's pretty solid, and I think B tier is another fair spot to put him. Clyde Drexler is an A tier guy. For me personally, I don't think there's another point guard on this list who's an S tier guy. I'm sorry. I'm going to go 4 point guards in S tier. Levine would also be an S tier if he was on this list, which he should be, but he's not. So I apologize for that. But I'm going to put Clyde Drexler in A tier. He's 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan, hot stats from everywhere, 25 hops, which are really well rounded and amazing stats. He's a very, very good card. Jump shot 5 on quick is not phenomenal, but it's good. Quick dribble style is good as well, but the rest of his SIGs are really mediocre, and that does hold the card back a little bit. He's a very, very good card. I just think the release could be a tiny bit better, and the SIGs could be better. And honestly, I'm nitpicking. He's a good card. I should really put him in S tier. I'll put him in S tier. I'm gonna be honest. I'm putting Clyde in S tier. I think he's very, very good. I think he will deserve to be in the S tier. Very, very solid card. Not a ton of people have him besides collector level people, but very, very good card for sure. Tyrese Maxey is either B or C tier. I don't even really know where to put this card, to be honest, because I haven't looked at him much. Unfortunately, at only 6'2", he's very undersized, but hot stats from 4 out of 5 spots, 22 hops, include a bunch of finishing badges, catch and shoot and sniper, as well as mismatch expert, quick first step, ankle breaker, and really good defensive badges on the perimeter. Another great perimeter defensive card, needs interior badges added. 90 driving dunk, 92 shot 3, and nice and fast. Jump shot 84 and very quick is a pretty good release. Quick dribble style. The rest of his half-court SIGs aren't great, but the pro 3 behind the back is nice. He's another solid card. He's just really undersized. So honestly, that's a big flaw, and I don't feel like he gives you quite as much offensively as guys like Jason Williams, Chauncey Billups, and Trae Young. So for me, I'm going to put him in the C tier. Caruso, also another very solid card, but again, going to go C tier just because he's a bit limited offensively. I say that he's got decent size, 6'4", hot shots from everywhere outside the 3, 15 hops include posterizer, catch, sniper, quick first step, and unpluckable, as well as another ton of defensive pops. Really great perimeter defensive badges, stats as well. 96 speed and excel, good shooter, good dunker. Jump shot is jump shot 17 on very quick dribble style, and the pro 3 behind the back. The rest of his SIGs kind of suck, and again, when you're a little undersized, not having the greatest of SIGs does hurt, but I'm going to be honest, I think he's probably better than everybody in the C tier, so I'm going to move him up to the B tier for me personally. Bradley Beal, I don't know, man. I feel like I got to move. I have so many B tier guys, but I really do think that's where Bradley Beal deserves to be as well. Who can I move up in the B tier that I could move up to A tier to even this out just a little bit? Who's the best card in B tier? You know what? Because of Kade's size and because I love the card, I'm biased. I'm putting Kade in A tier. I think he's really good. But Bradley Beal, another very, very solid option who's undersized, only 6'3", but offensively he's really good. Hot shots from almost everywhere. Elite shooting badges, really good playmaking badges. Clamps, pickpocket, pogo sticker, solid hops. 94 speed and excel, acceptable but not amazing defensive stats. 90 driving dunk is good. 95 shot 3 is also good. Needs interior defensive badges, but that's about it. Gray Allen leaf style and very quick is really good. Shifty dribble style, not great. Wish it was quick, but quick Kobe size up is great. And the shifty dribble style, like I said, will still get the job done. It's just not quite as good as quick, but yeah, Beal is a really solid card. I feel like he is another B tier guy. The release is elite. The movement is okay. The stats and badges are very good. He's another B tier type of guy. And then we have Jordan Poole, who is either A or B. I don't know. There's like so many B tier guys. There's so many guys who I feel like are on like basically the exact same level. And Jordan Poole is one of them. He's only 6'4". He got hot spots from everywhere. 29 hops include a ton of shooting and playmaking badges. Only 1 hop defensive badge though, which is clamps. Needs interior defensive badge as well as limitless takeoff and posterizer added. 94 speed, excel, 94 5 shot 3, good dunker, really solid perimeter defender. Ben McElroy release on very quick as a jumper I'm a massive fan of. Quick dribble style is great, but the rest of his SIGs are not great. And the Pippen behind the back is good to have. He's not A tier. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think there are any more of these guys that I want to move up to the A tier. So you know what? I think we're gonna have a somewhat disproportionate amount of cards in B tier because again, I think Jordan Poole, because his SIGs aren't incredible, and I don't feel like he's the greatest defender in the world, I can't put him in A tier. I think he's a B tier guy. So despite the fact that we have a massive amount of cards in B tier, and honestly, I'm going to move Trae Young down because he's so small that I think it hurts him defensively a little bit. But I know we got a lot of cards in B and C tier, but there are a lot of guys who are on that similar level in those tiers. So this is my tier list for the best point guards in my team. Let me know what you think of my list down in the comment section down below. If you disagree with me, that's totally cool. Feel free to leave a comment. We can talk about it. But hopefully y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.